Thanks for tuning in to Healthy Planet One, where we discuss healthy living from experts in each of their fields. This is your host, Patricia Starr.
And your co-host, Kimberly Knock. Today's guest on Healthy Planet One is Mary Lou Keller. And we're going to be talking about how to breathe better now. So I'm so excited to talk about this, Mary Lou. So welcome to the show today with Patricia and I.
Thank you. Nice
So
to be
Mary
here, Kimberly
Lou Keller. Oh, you're welcome. I've been really interested in your product and your method for a long time, so this is exciting. Mary Lou is the co-inventor of the patented PULMONICA Pulmonary Harmonica and vice president of Harmonica Techs. She also has a master's degree in microbiology, and she works along with her husband, Dr. Lou Keller, and his healthcare consulting business. She's also been an infectious control trainer and other things. So tell us, Mary, how was this Pulmonica developed, and a little bit about how's it different than a regular harmonica? This is really interesting.
Sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. So in 2012, my brother moved to town. My older brother moved to town, and he'd been a heavy smoker, and he thought he might have emphysema. And my husband said, well, you know what's good for that? I hear that, besides going to the doctor and getting everything taken care of, but I hear playing the harmonica is good for that. So my husband had a little free time, and he learned to play the harmonica in a month. And he's very good. My husband's a remarkable man.
Where is he? He should be on the air with us.
He is not with us.
Funny.
We have a consulting business, and he is busy.
Right.
He's the consulting. He has a PhD in statistics, and he's a nationally recognized healthcare researcher. So my husband said, well, here's the harmonica and here's how to play it. And I'm a novelist, and I was writing a novel at the time, and I kept saying, I don't want to learn to play the harmonica. So just, get it out. I was not interested. But then my brother was interested, and so we ended up at a national harmonica convention. And my husband was taking the harmonicas apart by that time and retuning them, and he's a machinist as well. Wow. And we were at this convention, and my husband came upstairs and says, you've got to go downstairs and hear about harmonicas and health and the big things that are happening with harmonicas and healthcare. So I went down, and I'm not sure, are you familiar with Better Breathers Clubs? There's something called the Better Breathers Clubs. They have harmonicas and healthcare seminars and stuff now. So I went down, and I learned that between the age of 40 and 70, we lose half of our lung function.
Ooh.
And I went back up to my room. I was working on a novel. I went back up to my room. I was like, oh, crap. Now I've got to learn to play the harmonica. And I went home, and I was just really into the book. So I was not paying attention. My husband kept saying, well, what do you think of this? Here, I've tuned it so that even you can play it. And he'd say, just blow a few times. And anyway, he kept trying to get me to play songs. And I kept saying, no, Dana, I love you, but I'm not going to learn to play songs. I said, can you just tune me one that all I have to do is blow and draw, and it's going to always sound good, and it's going to exercise my lungs? And he said, and he did. So he worked with he worked with the world's oldest harmonica manufacturer, who we had met at the harmonica convention. And they had a customizer on their thing. So he was able to customize harmonicas that way. And we went back and forth to the manufacturer, who was very excited about our product. And they had never seen anything like it. And what makes it different, Kimberly and Patricia, what makes it different from other harmonicas is that it's really low tuned. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna play it for you, and you're gonna hear how low it is, and it won't bother you. Don't block your ears. It's gonna be fine. It sounds like this. Could you hear that? Okay.
It sounded like a train. And,
no, it sounded like I could almost hear your breathing or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what it was. I was breathing through the lowest notes. A harmonica has little reeds that jiggle up and down when you blow through them. And on the pulmonica, the lowest three reeds actually have a weight welded on the reed. Oh. So that it's like having a weighted baseball bat. Before you go up to practice, you know how they use a weighted baseball bat, and then when you just blow, so those weighted reeds make it really hard to blow. We have a lot of people that can't do what I just did. I just blew.
Well,
hard
I love
through
this
the
because
bottom 4
I
notes.
think our listening, this is amazing. Our listening audience must be going, okay, harmonica, and maybe some of us had them as a child, you know, the little plastic ones,
Right.
and then I played the clarinet. So, and my grandmother had a harmonica. So I could never play it, and I was always fascinated by the harmonica. And that's why I said your husband, because I was hoping to hear like a whole thing. But so this is just amazing.
That's the thing.
Yeah, he doesn't
right.
play.
Well, he does. He doesn't play the pulmonica though, because the pulmonica is not optimized for playing. The pulmonica is optimized for lung exercise. It is a respiratory therapy device. We sell it under both categories. We sell it under musical instruments, and we sell it under medical devices. And we have an FDA 1 clearance, and we have the product insurance to have it be a medical device. So yes, and when you said it sounded like a train, that's exactly what it does sound like. It sounds like that slow. In fact, one of the fun things that you can do on it is chug like a train, because it really does sound like a train.
But that's a fascinating concept, Mary Lou. This is Patricia, about how those lower reeds are weighted, which actually what's that doing is that's forcing the muscles of the lungs to really go to work. And
exactly,
is that the process in which helps to clear the lungs? Can you say some more about that?
Absolutely. So what harmonicas have that are unique, different from other musical instruments, is that you inhale and exhale. So you have back pressure when you blow out, and you have a different type of pressure when you blow in. So it really puts a lot of pressure on your lungs, and actually, which brings us to COVID. And one of the reasons that we have not promoted this for COVID is because we don't know the effect of that back pressure on the lungs and how it might affect somebody who might be I don't know. We don't know. So we're not medical doctors, so we have not been promoting this for COVID. However, what it is good for is to strengthen your lungs. It's my lungs. I had my lungs tested in 2013. We did a clinical trial, and we're still friends with the doctor. So I went back last year and had them tested again, had my lung function test, and my lung function has improved in 8 years.
How much is it improved, Mary?
And that is not normal for a woman. I'm a 65-year-old woman. This is not a normal thing.
And how do they gauge that? And what was the percentage of strength increased?
Yes, and when they do a lung function test, there's a test that they do where you blow through a tube, and you blow through as fast and hard as you can. So it's but really as hard as you can. And it's that 1 second exhale, and then it's how fast your body. So they have a chart of how much pressure you were able to blow out in that 1 second fast exhale, and that's called your forced expiratory volume. So that's the volume that goes out. And then how fast your lungs recover is another. So there's a chart. And my lungs I was able to force out more. I use it every night. I use the pulmonica every night before I go to bed.
How long?
Yes. And my lung function increased. She's like, wow, that's not normal.
Like, how long do you have to stay on there? 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
No, I do it. What I do with it, Kimberly and Patricia, I use it at night after I brush my teeth. In the bathroom, because you want to have a clean mouth if you can, because those reeds, if you have any food in your breath, then that's going to get on those reeds. So I use it after I brush my teeth, and I use it while I'm doing my stretching exercises. I do a whole series of stretching exercises, and I just keep the harmonica positioned in my mouth. I don't put my hands on it. So I actually think it's good for my chin muscles too, because I'm giving my mouth I'm holding a full harmonica in my mouth for about 3 minutes probably. So I do my stretching, and I'm just blowing in and out. And usually during that time, I have to stop it. I have to either blow my nose or cough something into the sink. I have allergies, so I have some. And that, to me, is the best thing about the pulmonica, is if you've got what's called tenacious secretions, just stuff that keeps dripping, you got that postnasal drip, or you've got stuff you keep coughing up from your lungs, this is really good for clearing your lungs. So.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. And so was there a percentage increase on the strength of your lungs from 1 year to the other after doing this?
I was just I was just better than I had been. So I would have been expected to decrease in 7 years between 58 and 65. And I did not. I stayed. I got just a little better. So I was in the last time I'm in the 124th percentile for breathing. So I'm like, 100% would be if I was the best breather in the 100% group. So apparently my breathing is really good. So
well, and what's interesting,
and I credit this.
What's interesting about that is that you were saying that you have allergies, and that can often affect a decrease in the lung capacity over time,
absolutely. Right? Oh, absolutely. Our normal aging, as we age, we become chronic shallow breathers.
Yeah.
When you tell people take a deep breath, you say take a deep breath to people. I mean, both ladies, everyone, take a deep breath. Inhale. Did your shoulders go up? Your shoulders shouldn't go up when you breathe. Your belly's supposed to go out. Your shoulders aren't supposed to go up.
Right.
We get to the point where we actually only breathe in pretty much the top half of our lungs.
I see that all the time with my clients. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
and in fact, that's one of the. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, it was about the breath work, and
yes.
And you're talking about shallow breathing because there a lot of us that do yoga are practicing, like pranayama and different things. So they may get some knowledge about breath work and how important it is, but how does the pulmonica, it must supersede it by so much more.
That's right. And if you look online, our competitors, there's a whole series of competitive products that are in the sports field, and there's a lot of breathing exercises in the sports field. Very often they're just blowing or inhaling, but they're trying to get people to exercise their lungs. There's even a mask that people wear, so it puts a lot of pressure on their lungs as they're exercising. So there's a lot of science behind this pressure of pressurizing and doing what you do with your lungs, how we're exercising our lungs. So.
Well, Mary Lou, I have a really important question because I have a client who has, and my mom actually passed away from COPD. How can this help a COPD person?
Well, there are two different types of COPD. There's more than two, but the main ones are chronic bronchitis, which is kind of what I have. The allergies can lead to chronic bronchitis if I don't take care of my lungs. And then there's emphysema, and that's usually caused by emphysema basically puts holes in your lungs. And so it's really horrible. Chronic bronchitis is bad enough, and with chronic bronchitis, you tend to get a lot of fluid buildup. And with emphysema, your lungs tend to be drier. So if you have a dry cough, then the pulmonica might not be exactly as good for you as if you have a wet cough. And if you have a dry cough, and you should, if you have COPD, you should talk to your pulmonologist before you do this, because people at the very late stages of COPD, their lungs get so fragile. It's like tissue paper almost.
Yeah.
So Dana and I are very much, we don't want to do any harm, do no harm if we can. So people with stage 4 COPD, the really end stage, that it's past that they can.
Yeah,
but most people who have COPD learn about it when they try to quit smoking, or they go to the doctor and they say, I've had this cough. And for most people, stage 1, 2, 3, the lower stages of COPD, the pulmonica should help you.
Oh.
And so COPD is one of the main ones. Another big one is asthma, because what the pulmonica does is the low notes are actually doesn't it sound like ohm to you? A little like that ohm. Right? Yeah, it is. It's actually very close to ohm. If we had another $50,000, we were going to have an ohm-monica too. So that low is very meditative. When I say I use it right before I go to bed, it is my Pavlovian response now that I do that, and I go to bed and I fall asleep. Boom. And using this, I was wearing a Fitbit all the time, and you know how Fitbit has a sleep section? You can put it under your pillow, and it will tell a lot of people. I didn't know this. Somebody had to tell me this. You put it under your pillow, and it monitors how much you move during the night. And the chart for before I started using the pulmonica and after I started using the pulmonica it really dropped dramatically. And my husband woke up. He said, what did you do last night? And of course, women aren't supposed to snore. He says, but wow, you snored a lot.